Well, hi, my name is Yasmin. I'm from Brazil and I've been living in Italy for the past 2 months. And in case you're wondering, it has been 41 days since I got into quarantine. Yes, I'm going crazy. I even cut my own hair. Yes, so before I came here, I never realized how exotic my country sounds to most people. What happens is you're in class or you anywhere and people ask you, "Oh, where are you from?" And someone answers, "Ah, I'm from Germany." And somebody else says, "Oh, I'm from the US." And everybody's, "Okay then, nice." And you answer, "I'm from Brazil." Everybody goes like, "Whoa, what? Brazil? It's so far." Yes. We've heard some interesting assumptions about Brazil. I think this is going to be funny. Well, this is my vision, my opinion based on what I lived for the past 20 years, okay? Comment down below and let's make a big discussion about that, and let's celebrate how diverse and beautiful Brazil is. First thing that everybody thinks when they think about Brazil is Carnival. Let me tell you something. Yes, Brazil has the biggest carnival of the world. It's a 4-day holiday, and in Rio there are those huge cars and everything, but most places, Carnival is a really simple party where everybody gets together. The music is so loud, everybody's dancing, everybody is drinking, and that's Carnival. And it's only for 4 days, so don't expect to go to Brazil in December and find people partying like Carnival, because that doesn't happen, okay? So in my city there is actually one carnival out of the season, which is Fortal, and it's a big party like Carnival, and it's in July, so out of the time. But Carnival happens in February or the beginning of March usually. One fun fact, there is a quote in Brazil that says that the year only begins after the carnival. When you are in the new year, you make your resolutions, probably you're just going to fulfill them after the carnival, because that's where the year begins. So the second thing, the Amazon rainforest. And yes, the Amazon is beautiful, it's big, and it's not on the whole country, okay? There are people, I think most people, who never been to the Amazon. I went there last year for the first time. It's a unique experience and everybody should have that someday. But don't assume a Brazilian person has been to the Amazon just because they are Brazilian, because it's not the reality for most of us, okay? The other thing that people think a lot about the Amazon is the deforestation problem. And yes, unfortunately, that's a reality that I hear since I was a little kid. It's not a new problem. It's been there for a while now, and we all should be concerned about it. The Amazon is really important, not only for Brazil, but for the whole world. And it's a beautiful environment that should be protected at all costs. Oh, another thing is, maybe you think that's kind of funny and you think that I'm making this up, but it's not. Some people really think that Brazilian people live on trees. I don't even know why would you think that? I mean,
we don't even know how to climb the tree.
Yes, we don't live inside the jungle. And yeah, another thing that people seem to think a lot is that it's possible to see monkeys on the streets. Guys, I'm 20 years old, I've never seen a monkey. Oh, okay, I saw it last year in the zoo. You don't see monkeys on the streets. That doesn't happen, okay? Wild animals are on the jungle, on the protected areas or on the zoo. They are not in the middle of the street. That doesn't exist. When a wild animal appears in a city, everybody hears about it because it's so uncommon. Like the day that an alligator showed up in Rio.
Yeah.
Everybody was talking about it. I've never seen a snake in my life. I've never seen one.
Oh,
So
really?
yes, I've never did.
I had, but it's like on the countryside and it's not that common. I just saw it because my grandfather had a farm.
Let's talk about Brazilian people. I know that every time you think about Brazilian people, you probably imagine those beautiful women wearing a bikini in a beach somewhere with tanned skin and they are glowing because they are perfect. Even though you might think that Brazilian people are much more diverse than you could ever imagine. So this girl is Brazilian, this guy is Brazilian, this girl is Brazilian, this guy is also Brazilian, this ginger girl is Brazilian, and that guy, guess what? Brazilian. Even this girl and this guy, they are all Brazilians. So basically, you could look however you want because Brazilians literally, they can look like anyone. We are really diverse, really. Anybody could be Brazilian. The other thing that I just realized that it's famous about novelas, soap operas. Yes. In Brazil, there is this soap operas which are basically a long TV series. So yes, they are really good. And they are part of the culture. Everybody usually knows what's happening on the story because it used to be a lot more. Nowadays it's not that common, but still a lot of people watch soap operas. Another thing that I think is really nice, we have our mom and our dad's name on our name. For example, my name is Yasmin de Carvalho Rodrigues. Carvalho is my mom's name and Rodrigues is my dad's name. And I think that's really nice because I do realize that most countries don't use their mom's names and I don't really get it. Personally, I would never accept that my son or daughter wouldn't be named with my name. It's mine too. I mean, I do realize that for some people this might not sound important, but I think for me and for most Brazilians, it is. I mean, you create a family with two people and both should be represented.
So my family has only girls, only like girl daughters. Imagine if like the family name ends in you because
Yeah.
you couldn't pass your name to your kid.
So another thing that is really nice, I guess, we talk to everyone calling them by their first name. I mean, our teachers are always called by their first names. Nobody says like Mr. Rodrigues. Usually if they are older, you could call like seu Antônio, seu fulano, which could be something like Sir Antonio, which is his first name still. Nobody uses the surname. It's not disrespectful at all. We just do it. In Brazil, usually, let's say you have a friend and you go to your friend's house and you meet her mom or her father and you don't call him Mr. and Mrs. or Sir and Lady or anything like that. You call them uncle and auntie. Like, Lara's mom is my aunt. Not because my mom and her mom are like sisters or anything, but just because she's the mom of my friend, so she's my aunt. But when you meet someone that is older than you, it's really common for people to just call them aunties and uncles. Even if you are a little kid, your teacher is your auntie, you know? So in Portuguese, it's like tia e tio. A person that you don't know, don't call them auntie and uncle. It's weird. Don't do that. Another thing famous are the Brazilian memes. And yes, have you ever seen that there was a war on Twitter between Brazil and Portugal? It's really funny. You should see that. I mean, Brazilian people are famous for their memes. And I mean, guys, when you understand the jokes, they are amazing. There's nothing like a Brazilian meme. So, as you probably know by now, I hope you know that. We speak Portuguese. We were colonized by Portugal. Brazilian Portuguese and Portugal Portuguese are so different in accent. If I wanted to say Portugal Portuguese with the Brazilian accent, I would say Português de Portugal. But when I want to say in Portugal, it sounds, I mean, I'm sorry, I'm not good at this, but it's how I hear it. It's like Português de Portugal. So it's really different. When we were in Portugal, I'd rather talk to people in English because I couldn't understand them. Most of the times I couldn't.
Like a really ancient.
Yes,
Portuguese.
it sounds so old. when we hear a Portuguese person speaking in Portuguese from Portugal, it sounds to us the same language that we hear in our historical movies when they are speaking the colonization times Portuguese. Portuguese from Portugal sounds so polite, and I personally think that's beautiful. Once saw a meme that a Brazilian guy made. It was a screenshot from two Portuguese people arguing on Twitter, and they were like, "Do you see how fancy it is for Portuguese people to argue?" It just seems so beautiful. They are so polite, so fancy. A lot of people seem to assume that we speak Spanish. Yeah, and another thing that I was thinking about, here in Rome, when we are walking on the streets, people just seem to know that we are from Latin America. They are always like screaming to us, "Hola chicas!" And how do you know that? If you know how to answer that, tell me. I was in the US a few years ago, and I was trying to buy a pencil case. And the guy was not understanding that I wanted to buy a pencil case. I was trying to explain to him in English that I wanted a pencil case. And the guy just looks at me and he's like, "Where are you from?" And I'm like, "Brazil." And he starts to speak in Spanish. And I'm like, "Sorry, I don't speak Spanish." And he was like, "How come you're from Brazil and you don't speak Spanish?" And I'm like, it's fascinating. Soccer. Yeah. Soccer is a big part of the Brazilian life. In World Cup, actually, it's amazing because during the days that Brazil is playing, it's holiday. Nobody works, nobody goes to school. Everybody should be together with their families doing a big barbecue and eating a lot and drinking and cheering for Brazil because that's who we are. That somebody asked me during this coronavirus moment about the healthcare system. And yeah, in Brazil there is this healthcare system that everybody has access to for free. Basically all you need to do to go to the hospital is like exist. It's not perfect, we have a lot of problems, but still the healthcare system, the public healthcare, it's still a reason for much pride, because we know that not every country is like that. Another thing that people think about Brazil is that Brazil is a dangerous place. I'm from Fortaleza. Fortaleza is known to be the most dangerous capital of Brazil. In Brazil, you probably won't walk on the streets like careless like we do here in Europe. I think when you live in a place like that, you kind of get used. You will go outside and you will be just a little more careful. You learn those things. You hear experiences. You end up learning that you are on the street and you need to see if there's somebody coming. That you can't walk on the streets with your phone showing. That you can't have a lot of valuable stuff with you, and it's really bad. But it's not like you can get out of your house that you're going to be robbed. It's really a matter of luck. I mean, I was robbed like a lot of times. Lara has never been robbed. Don't think that Brazil is a scary place. We have a lot of problems, but we live a good life, okay? If we hear someone that's not Brazilian saying bad things about Brazil, we will fight you. We complain a lot about it, but the truth is that we love it. The other thing that people assume about Brazil is that the capital is Rio. No. Guys, Buenos Aires is in Argentina. Argentina. It's really funny actually because so many people seem to think that Buenos Aires is in Brazil. I mean, Rio could be the most famous city because of the Cristo Redentor, which is like that statue of Jesus. Our capital is Brasilia. Another thing that I thought that was so funny when I heard it is I was talking to a friend and she was like, "You have to pay for water, right?" Guys, when we came here to Europe, the first thing that we were shocked about is that you can drink water from the tap. Water from the tap is treated, but not for you to drink, okay? You can cook with it, you can take showers, you can do everything you want with the water, but don't drink it. It tastes really bad. I think it's because of the chlorine. I think it's chlorine that you say. Don't drink the water from the tub. People have told me is that they think that in Brazil we walk on bikinis all the time. Guys, I know Brazil is a hot country, really hot weather, but we don't use bikinis all the time. Bikinis are for people who are at the beach. You shouldn't go to a shopping mall in a bikini, and if you do, people will think you are weird. Let's talk about Brazilian food. Guys, I think Brazilian food is so underrated, so much. Nobody has ever heard of Brazilian food, Brazilian cuisine. And when they do it like feijoada, okay, we have so much more than feijoada. Guys, when we talk about Brazil, we are talking about the country that has escondidinho, a country that has brigadeiro. Oh my God, I mean.
Coxinha.
Yes, coxinha. I mean, have you ever tried a coxinha? It's incredible. Coxinha. Oh, I miss coxinha so much. Guys, explore Brazilian cuisine. Another thing that is really, really nice. We eat a lot of rice. We eat rice with everything. Meat, rice, and smashed potatoes. We told this to our friends here, and they were like, "How can you eat smashed potatoes with rice? You should choose or the potatoes or the rice. You can eat both." And I'm like, how can you eat both? People do it, okay? They eat lasagna with rice and it's amazing. I heard you guys think Brazil is obsessed with their hygiene. I mean, Brazil is a really hot country, so if you go outside your house, you will be sweating a lot. Usually people take showers whenever they walk out of their houses and come back, and when they wake up too. You wake up, you take a shower, then you go to school, okay? Before you sleep, you take a shower again, okay? That's what you do. And we brush our teeth every time we eat. Don't you brush your teeth whenever you eat? I think that's the right thing to do. People think we talk too loud. That's so true. It's not even because we are mad or too happy, it's just the way we talk. People think that Brazilians love to party, and I need to tell you that's true. Everything is a reason for celebration. So basically you go to the supermarket and that day the meat is cheaper. So you go like, "Oh, I'm making a barbecue," and you will invite like 30 friends. And out of the blue, you have a party. That's it. And you'll be like listening to funk and listening to sertanejo. Whenever I see people, like foreign people dancing funk, they are doing like hip hop dances, and it's so not
the way that you
no.
dance funk.
It's weird to see a person dancing hip hop with funk. I mean.
Comment down below if you knew that funk was from Brazil.
Another thing that's really true about Brazil is that we are really warm people. Yeah, we get to a place, we hug each other. I don't care if I don't know you, if I only met you, I will hug you. And that's the polite thing to do. Whenever you leave a place, it's also the polite thing to do. You don't say like bye and you disappear. You say bye, you hug the person, and you go away. Because we are so warm, people seem to think that we are flirting. Guys, Just because somebody's being nice to you doesn't mean that they are being flirtatious. They are just being nice. We are in a group of friends and we are talking about random stuff of life. So somebody just goes like, where are you from? And then when we say we are from Brazil, they immediately start to flirt with us. I mean, what changed in the past 10 seconds? Respect Brazilian girls, okay? Respect everybody independently from their nationality, okay? Let's talk about samba. Samba is like the perfect combination for a barbecue on Sunday. Yeah, don't assume that everybody can dance just because they're Brazilian. It's a sad reality for some of us, and yeah. Let's not mention that. I'm from Fortaleza, and Fortaleza is like the ultimate summer paradise. It's summer every day in Fortaleza. Not all the cities in Brazil have beaches. In case you don't know, São Paulo doesn't have a beach. If you're coming to Brazil and you want to go to a beach, research first, because you might end up in a city that has no beach. Brazil is really big and really diverse and really different. Each region is so rich and full of culture, and it's worth seeing everything. So visit Brazil, respect the nature and respect the people. I hope you love our country as much as we do. Just comment down below if you hear something different. Follow me on Instagram, because there I'm always talking about my experience here in Italy, and eventually I'm going to go back home, so I can show you a lot of things of my city, and like the video and just share it with your friends, someone who's thinking about going to Brazil. Let's all be happy like a Brazilian person is.